the Hardwood and AstroTurf Talk Show, peoples. It's the end of the NBA preseason, well, not
Regular season.
season,
Yeah.
regular season. Because you know how they got the postseason, like nah. Regular season. Thanks, everyone. And we got some juicy topics to talk about today. Excited for what's gonna happen in the playing tournaments and then eventually in the playoffs. Coming up pretty soon. Um, Sorry, people. Sakim couldn't be here tonight. Gonna make it some technical difficulties. A little bit a part of why we started late as well. So apologize for that. If it caused you any inconveniences. But anyways, we can get right into the stream. Right, how you doing, my brother? How
I'm
was the
doing
week?
as good as could be. It was a peaceful week. I would say we had some good bank holidays, so any time off
Nice,
from work
nice.
is good time.
It's a blessing, huh?
So yeah,
So
enjoy
that's
it to the
good. That's
fullest, man.
good, man.
How you been, man?
Well, you gotta do it. Well, same quiet week. Um, use the word peaceful. Mine was pretty cool too.
Hmm.
Ain't had as much bank holidays as you, but give thanks nonetheless.
Exactly.
So excited to get into these juicy topics
Yeah, man.
to talk about NBA and see what we up against in the coming weeks. So, peoples, if you're in the stream, do us a quick favor, like the video if you're already in the stream. Also, drop some comments in the comment section. We'll try to be interactive with you tonight as well. And hope you guys enjoy the stream. Let me dive right into it, right, one. How
So
about we talking about this final day in the
yeah,
NBA and how guys like tripping.
yeah. So if you follow us on Instagram, I posted a post saying the NBA has gone 0 days without being unnecessarily dramatic, and staying true to that, that's what we got yesterday. It was Easter Sunday, everybody looking for the eggs, all sorts of thing, and the NBA had to find a way to top the joy and the fellowship that goes on Easter weekend
Yeah,
with
yeah.
absolute drama. So the most dramatic scene of the day, without
Some
a
men want
doubt,
crack some eggs.
yeah, cracks and eggs or cracks and heads, something.
Well,
I
something
you
like
know,
that.
but
Tensions was out the roof. That's for sure.
I don't know, man. The Timberwolves versus the Pelicans game. So Timberwolves fan here. I was definitely watching that game, and I actually missed the whole scenario. I only came back and saw it afterwards while it was replaying. I didn't get to see it while it was
Right,
going on. So it's like, why on earth would these guys be, fighting with each other?
right.
Like, I understand the game was getting on the hand. It's one of the biggest games of the season, truthfully. Even though I could say a lot of the games were big for the Timberwolves coming on to the end, given their proximity and jostling for position in the standings, etc., etc. With the
Yeah.
Lakers, with the said Pelicans that they went up against yesterday, so it was like a do or die type of game for them. So as you can see here on the on his on his screen, you can see what ESPN quotes that these guys were saying with each other. Hey, you need to block some shots. Hey, you need to grab some rebounds. And then Anderson Castle, Rudy Gobert, Rudy Gobert taking
Yeah.
that, so he swing at the man, yada yada yada. You know,
Unnecessary.
yeah, unnecessarily so because I
And
understand you
hacks
get you
panties
get
and they're not.
yeah exactly you could get tempers flare, but with your own teammates on the bench, man, that's a bad luck, really and truly. I don't
Hmm.
see what somebody could tell me that would cause me to do that, especially during the game on the sideline.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying, I get it.
I understand
I
you
get that
totally
you're
agree.
you're
Like,
angry, but I guess the same thing could be said too for Kurt Anderson because there's a line to draw. Same with that Rudy could say, well, there's a line to draw in how he should act. There's a line to draw in what you should say, and
right.
I feel that you gotta understand
But I mean, like,
who you're talking
that's
to.
a diss that's so common
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like.
It seemed real petty to
It's
me.
not like
Yeah,
no, it might bear any weight if like yeah, okay, cool,
yeah.
but
And at the same
I
time,
don't think it warrants the reaction that it had. That's the
yeah.
thing.
I'm pretty sure this not the first time somebody cuss out somebody in the on that team or anything like that. So I don't see
Hmm.
why it would have. But again, we got as I said, we got to take into consideration this is a big game, last game of the season, big game with
Yeah.
playing implications on who you get to play and what position you get to play. Uh, so there's that involved. I could see why the tempers may escalate. You there at this point in the game, they were down double digit points to the Pelicans. So I could see all that. Another
Right.
component factor, Rudy Gobert was listed as questionable for the game because he was suffering with some back spasms from the last game that they played on Saturday because they played a back to back. So all of these compounding things going into it, and at the same time, Kurt Anderson, you gotta know who your teammates are. You gotta know who you could, cause so you gotta know who you gotta take a different approach. I mean, speaking to them because some men might be too touchy if you get what he's saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
Too many soft spots.
I feel like blame is to go both ways. What happened
Yeah.
happened, and I feel like given that Gobert provided an apology after the fact, after it was all done, said and done, I feel like Kyle Anderson should apologize to him too, to some
Hmm.
extent maybe, if he feels like that. Um, but totally unacceptable, and
Yeah. Especially when you're elder in the team,
yeah,
like you got to be
two
able to
two of
control
them,
yourself.
not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
two of them, trying to have an all-out brawl on the sidelines. Not acceptable at all. Not good luck. But I feel like it's something that these guys will
Agreed.
overcome. Gobert ended up getting a suspension for the playing game, which is I would say a relatively big blow for the Timberwolves, seeing that they have to face the Lakers on Tuesday tomorrow. Uh,
Is this from the NBA organization or is
Not
this
this from
from
the
their
organization. This is from
organization?
the
Yeah,
Timberwolves
yeah.
themselves.
Right.
So that's a
I
big
see.
call that they made, though. On the other hand, because it's
Hmm.
like you want Gobert to be there, like to guard
Yeah.
AD, like so I don't know what to say with that call because that could make or break the season. You might end up losing
Yeah.
that playing game. I mean, you might end up losing it either way because right now the Lakers are like a better team, I would say, overall. But Gobert gives you somebody to stop. The person that I would say will catapult the Lakers into being the most successful that they could be, which is Anthony Davis. Um, so that's the only thing that I would say about it. But uh,
Somebody
drama,
said they're
drama, drama.
fighting words. Yeah.
Man, a lot of things could be fighting words. Anything could be
Yeah.
fighting words. Like, it's
It's all
smallest
about
thing.
how
It's
it's
about yeah.
received.
It's about
Yeah.
was the moment. Was the point in time, and
Yeah.
that was just a heated time. To
And the reaction,
yeah,
yeah, and the reaction is usually from a standpoint of, all right, let me prove to you what you just say is not true. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
exactly.
like,
Especially in this case,
yeah, that's a kind of a high level testosterone reaction right there in the heat of the moment.
for sure. For sure, and
Is like,
that's
all
something that
right,
they said
let me
after the
show you
fact.
then.
It was in the heat of the
Mhm.
moment, yada yada yada. And I feel like, again, I feel like it's something that will dissolve. It's not something that will linger between those guys because they understand it was a heat in the moment stuff, uh,
Right.
and what's not. So I don't think it grows into anything bigger or leave a big stain like one called like the one that Draymond left on the Warriors. I would say
Yeah,
early in the
yeah.
season. And funny enough, Draymond comes out after the same altercation because Gobert actually tweeted out after this altercation about Draymond's altercation when it
The
first
pool.
when it first
Hmm.
happened. Was like I can't remember the exact words. Let me see if I can't remember the exact words, but whatever the
Hmm.
words that were said, Draymond and his petty self retweet them after this same altercation, and it just like really Draymond, you was trying to like the one with Draymond is a little bit different to me, and the Warriors is a good vibes organization, and I feel like truthfully that played a big factor into how their whole season went, especially at the start and stuff like that. So
Right.
I, I don't feel like this would have the same impact given the statements
Hmm.
coming from both of the players afterwards, if you know what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
nobody got black and blue eye like Jordan Poole, so there's that.
And when they got remnants of damage.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
um,
And then somebody decide that instead of hitting somebody, they can hit something that don't move that
exactly, an
easily.
immovable force, an immovable object. Was it law? was he
uh,
law?
uh, which law?
Something about unstoppable
Newton's
force.
third law.
Yeah, Newton's
Oh,
third
oh
law.
no, no. Well, that unstoppable force thing is not a law, but that is a law that says a movable force can't move a movable object.
Exactly.
No, unstoppable force, sorry, can't move an unmovable object.
Exactly. So Deanna
But
McDaniels, why on earth would you think?
he had a crack at it. End up cracking
Yeah,
something though.
exactly. Why would you think that it made sense to go and punch a wall? Because you got two fouls in the game, and it's a big game, game on the line. Like emotional intelligence is severely lacking for this Timberwolves team. I'm not the first person
Two,
to say,
and it's two fouls. It's not even
yeah, it's
like
not like the end of the world. It's not that you follow to the
yeah.
game. Like, man, you could do it if you follow to the game. Even then, it's not even
Mm,
justified. But if you follow to the game and want to lose the game, then fine. But not because
right.
not in the first quarter. The end of the first quarter, you're
Mhm.
there punching walls. Like, come on, knowing how big a role you have on the team, and you go do something like that to jeopardize the rest of the season for the team. Whatever rest of the season the team will be able to successfully go through. Like that don't mean no sense. Literally, is the dumbest thing that I've ever seen on
Yeah.
from a basketball player. Like why? Literally no reason. Like if for example Rudy Gobert had hurt his hand punching Kyle Anderson, then fine. But you punching a wall, like why on earth you think that that would be a sensible thing to do? Like, uh, that's so
He
dumb.
probably grew up in a board house and figured that all walls all walls is the same.
But even they could bring
But
a hand doing that too. So I I don't
yeah.
know. I don't
I,
know, but jeez.
I ain't gonna try to explain it to be
I
honest,
don't. I don't
because
even want to know.
yeah.
I don't even. I don't even. I intrigued to see what he has to say after it. But most of these things when the media comes around after they happen, they probably just get some sort of script to repeat and say, yeah, it wasn't a smart thing to do. Yada yada yada. I realize after the fact, you can try to be better, etc. etc.
Right.
But
How
I,
bad was he fractured?
it,
Did they say how bad it was? Like
yeah, they,
how
they,
long
they
did he hold
listed
out?
it. They put out a poster there about what specific it was and how bad it was. I can't get into all the medical jargon, etc., etc. But no, in short,
Right.
he's going to be out for the rest. Oh, indefinitely actually, but definitely for the
Right.
rest of the season. Even though I don't think the Timberwolves season gonna be much longer than why it is right now.
So basically he hampered and he ain't coming back till next year.
Yes, pretty much. So,
Simple.
but
Silly.
nonetheless, we had some other fights. Another fight, another scuffle on the bench between teammates again. Mason Plumlee and Bonus Hyland going at it. I don't know the story behind this one, but it seemed to be fight night in the NBA.
Had
We
to
had
be.
one. We had one earlier this year. We had a whole episode
Yeah.
episode dedicated to that. So I don't know, man. The guys getting more aggressive with each other. I would say, um,
hmm
in this case, on the basketball court. But I guess it just shows you for the passion for the game that they do have. So, uh,
I feel like that's passion beyond the game because like
well, yeah, it game personal.
yeah,
It game
when it
personal.
when it start to get too close to home,
Hmm.
that's when guys start to act out.
Yeah, but
So I,
this one wasn't too
I
bad.
can't call it passion for the game.
Well, I don't know, but it got me passion for something. I don't know if passion for violence, but I find that NBA players don't really want to fight like that, man. It's just be a
Yeah,
you know kind of stand up for yourself type of thing. I don't
yeah.
think they guys really
And
want to
chuck
fight.
here or
Yeah,
there,
yeah, correct,
like, chuck you in, then they know everybody can come in to stop it, so then they only try
correct.
to put up a front.
Exactly, exactly, and they can
Some
get
some
away with
people
it.
really don't want this smoke.
Exactly, exactly. So,
But yeah, like you say, it was fight night
hmm
yesterday, and bad looks for the organization on the whole.
hmm
Yeah, we
organizations.
get it. We commit some excuses here or there, but at the end of the day, a lot of it is definitely uncalled for.
Hmm.
It only ends one way most of the time, right? So
But it give us something to talk about, so I'm glad for it anyway. I'm glad
right, the
for it anyway.
drama.
Why not, man? Why not? If it's one sport that has the most amount of drama in during the sport, I would say the sport is the NBA. You could count on it every single day, even in the off
Yep.
season. So, gotta be the best sport for content. Gotta be.
On the other hand, though, we had some players that is trying to prove them points that we was talking about last week.
Yep.
Udonis Haslem with three trees back to back.
Well, Udonis has them retiring and scoring probably the most points he scored in a decade. With three trees, I can't even tell you the last time I ever even see he shoot a 3 point shot. So
Yeah, yeah.
that was fun, I would say, to say the least. Peyton Pritchard with a triple double. Kenneth
A big
Lofton
game.
Jr. From the Grizzlies, a big guy with a 42 point game. Cam Thomas, we know that he's an absolute bucket. Also, a
Yep.
46 point game. Trey Man with a
Yep.
triple double from the OKC Thunder. Like all these
I
guys
was
just
sick.
trying to
Cam
get
Thomas
paid.
is a wheelbarrow.
At this point, like I think I see a stat
Yeah.
that he has like more 40 point games than like KD and a bunch of other star players for the season, yo. Like real
Yeah,
talk.
like but like when he went off, he went off.
Yeah. But then a lot of people
More often
ask
than not
why
when he
this guy
didn't.
don't get much more play, but on the other
I
hand,
was saying,
he
but
can't guard a soul. He like a
I
corn.
guess.
He's a corn on the defensive end. So
But I mean, some star players don't play no defense at all. But then off offensive acumen is so good
yeah,
that
but he only gets
oh,
buckets. So I can't say he gets buckets and assists. Like for example, Luca, he gets buckets and is
I see what you're saying.
he's an offensive engine. Can't don't say an offensive engine. He could go out hot shooting night, but he ain't gonna be nah. He ain't on that star level.
I see. I see. I see what you're saying.
Yep.
So all your points he generating for himself,
Mhm.
sport and not like
Yep.
sharing the ball around the court.
Correct. So there's that. Not to say that he can't pass, but that's his primarily a
Right.
bucket getter. And
Right.
then we
Right.
had the Warriors destroying the Trailblazers by 50 something points last night. Like they
Boy,
had 55 points in the first quarter.
mm,
First quarter. Not first
record
half,
breaking.
not first 3 quarters. First quarter. Record breaking quarter performance. Nothing less from the Warriors. Looking to
Only
be
with
in,
Stephanie
yeah,
Warriors,
exactly.
bro.
Looking to be in prime form heading into the playoffs. And
I told you guys, watch out for Warriors, boy.
yeah.
They always do this. They always sneak in the playoff times. Like play okay coming on to the end of the regular season, then they start to drop off a little bit just before, then they pick back up again.
Yeah.
So gotta watch out for these guys,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, but before we get into that matchup, we gotta talk about the playing games for sure. So after yesterday, yes, last day of the season, the playing matchups have been set. So right now we have the Hawks facing the Heat. I can pull up a little graphic here for everybody to see the whole standing, well, the whole playoff slash play-in picture. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the Hawks versus the Heat first of all. Uh, and then we have the Wolves at the Lakers, both on Tuesday. Hawks and Heat, Wolves at Lakers on Tuesday. So, first of all, the Hawks have been one of the most disappointing teams for the season. A lot of people aren't speaking about it
Very, yeah.
because the Mavericks, so many other teams have been disappointing, but really and
Mm-hmm.
truly, after getting DeJounte Murray in the offseason, you thought that they would have been a better team than they were, but they just continued to be middling. I guess they can't ever get back to that point that they were about 2 or 3 years ago when they made it to the conference finals. Um, it was the conference
I
finals
think
or conference semi. I
I
think it was conference finals.
I honestly think is because they were off for so long for the regular season that people see it as a norm up to this point. So that's why people probably not giving it as much, I guess, headlights as probably let's say Mavericks or
I mean,
somebody else.
I guess it could be maybe because they
Because like
still
for the
got a
whole
chance.
season they've been mediocre.
Yeah, yeah. Literally,
Yeah,
their
for the entire
record literally
season.
says it. Um, uh, but I guess at the same time they still got a chance to beat maybe the Heat and then go and play the
I
Celtics.
mean,
But even when you go and play the
the only
Celtics, yeah,
chance is
like
that I don't see them having a chance right now. I think honestly that this is the end of the road. The only chance them got of beating the Heat is the fact that them could show up and play basketball. Because them got the matchup to play. But I don't see it as a chance at all when it comes to executing that win against the Heat.
Yeah,
So
and once they bother Trey Young enough, I think that should be enough, truthfully, because
yep,
I,
because
I,
Capella need Trae Young. If Trae Young ain't
exactly,
functioning, Capella ain't functioning.
exactly. I
And
mean, the Jonathan Murray
that's
is still there, but it'll be a surprising game to
yeah,
me if
but
he just comes on and just dominates the game
he has
offensively.
to have a big night,
Yeah,
and
yeah. The chance of that happening might be quite slim. So,
he's a cup maybe at this point.
so then
You
is
know,
the
bucket level right now. So
you got Trey Young getting shut down on offense, and then he can't provide you anything on defense really. So it's
correct.
a they're gonna. I know the Heat are gonna attack him every single time that they get. So they got too smart of a coach and too smart of players to not exploit those matchups when Trey on the floor. Especially with
Correct.
Jimmy Butler and those type of guys out there. And playoff Jimmy, we already talked about playoff Jimmy the other day, a different
Hmm.
animal. So I don't see the Heat losing this game at all.
Exactly. Plus, their defense is going to be pretty pretty high level for this game too. As a general
Exactly,
unit,
exactly.
like, he is that team. So I think yeah, I think Hawks can face the Heat when it comes to this matchup.
Correct. And then the second matchup is the Wolves at the Lakers. Would have been a better game if all the players would be there. Hink hink at Jaden McDaniels
I
and Gobert for the folly that
might be leaning
they put
towards
into
Lakers
history.
again, boy.
But yeah, the
Oh.
Lakers got truthfully if the Lakers lose their game, they should be totally embarrassed because they have all the chips on their side.
Yep.
Lost the Timberwolves lost their best defender. Well, two of their best defenders on the whole. You got LeBron and AD. You should take this game with Troy and win it. If they don't, it's no we can hear the last of it by the media. I know a certain man that should be here today. It wasn't able to make it
Yeah.
today, unfortunately. Would it would be in tears. But
Manager hacks.
it's true. But um, we can take some time to go and watch that game tomorrow. Um,
Yeah.
at a bar or something like that because it should
Oh
be fun.
boy.
Should be fun. The Bulls
I,
fun. Lakers fun.
I wish I was there to be the
Yeah.
neutral guy.
So,
Just giving everybody heat.
but in all honesty, even though I still go there to support my team, I don't see how they I, I, I put my money on the Lakers. If I was a betting man, they should come
Yeah.
out victorious easily.
Wolves definitely got to bring like their super A game if they want to beat Lakers with the bodies down that they have. So I don't know. I'll say good luck, but I feel like the Wolves know against the Lakers is like Hawks versus Heat almost.
Correct.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, well, actually, I wouldn't say so, but you still got to remember you still got Anthony Edwards and Carl Anthony Towns at the end of the day. So there's that.
But how much you expect to get out of Anthony Edwards
I
on
think
that night?
uh,
On a
because with the same 82 game, he was sensational. Even though he didn't have a efficient scoring night on both
mhm.
ends in the 4 minute mattered most in that fourth quarter, he was
Yeah, but
sensational.
I feel like he's one of those hot and cold players that like could do it because he got the talent, but how often can you count on it? That's the question. Like how consistent of a player is he? Especially now, given that you guys down a couple of guys, a couple of important pieces to the lineup,
Well, this is his
and
time.
then looking at the players that he's going up
Hmm.
against, like how is he going to, you know, find his way in there to be able to be a bucket for the team, basically?
I don't know. Maybe this is the game where he needs to focus more on defense. Let somebody else steer the ship on offense to some extent. Uh, because no, you lost your best defensive player, Jaden McDaniels, for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who's gonna guard LeBron? Who's gonna?
Right.
Well, I mean, McDonald's probably won't guard AD, but like no, we don't got Gobert. Who's gonna guard Gobert? Cat has to step up there too as well. So
I mean, who was going to guard AD?
yeah, who's gonna guard AD? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so both of those guys need to step up in a way that they probably don't usually have to get it. Is either do it or don't do it. Yes, Ant is not as consistent as he could or should be, I would say, in certain instances.
Right.
But I feel that he gets up for games like this. He's playing against the Browns, so I feel that he, even if he's not having a good shooting night or whatever the case may be, he's gonna try to show up and show out the best that he could. I could say that that's one thing about him for sure. For these big games, he does give it his all.
Well, in any case, both teams got two shots at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
True.
so I guess they're in the best position for redemption,
Hmm.
as it pertains to this playing tournament.
Yeah,
But hey, if you best place to be in is to have the win,
it's
see
true.
this straight through.
It's true.
To be able to go home west
Uh,
and then psych up for
for the weekend,
the actual
playoffs.
playoffs
Hmm.
to be there.
Yeah,
If you go start playing extra games, then that's fatigue and shorter time to settle
yeah.
and get ready for the playoffs. So
Hmm.
you want to do this as quick as possible, get the job done as fast as
Yeah.
possible.
And then on Wednesday we got the Bulls at Raptors for the 9-10 playing spot. So this is winner go home.
Raptors
Um,
had a big game this week too. Well, I should say last week.
mhm. But they've been trying to stay afloat. They've been trying to stay afloat in the East with the 1 second please. Yeah, they've been trying
Yep.
to stay afloat with the in the East. They've been able to do it, and we talked about the Bulls too a couple of weeks back. How they've been pretty lackluster given the talent that they have on the team. Um, I don't know, man. I would say the Raptors are the better team out of the two. I think they should pull out the win more than lately. But the Bulls have been playing a lot better coming on to the end of the season since they got Pat Bev. Truthfully speaking,
Yeah.
so
And
this
the
will
G
actually be a
shift.
pretty fun game. I would say
Yep.
you might see Pat Bev jumping up on the table again. Who knows? Anything is possible. And then the OKC at Pelicans. The Pelicans have been playing out of their mind too, much like the Bulls over the past few games. So I actually give the Pelicans a nod in this one. They played a really great game. Brandon Ingram has been sensational over the past few
Brandon
weeks.
Ingram so smooth.
Yes, so
Like,
smooth. The buckets like KD-esque, I would say,
yeah,
um,
it's like
from the mid range.
when you watch the guy, it's like, it's so easy.
Yep,
Too
too
easy.
easy, man. And you know when you say, "Oh boy," just like the famous Mark Jackson quote, "That's great defense, but that's just better offense." I just find myself
Yeah.
saying that so often when I see
Yup.
Brandon Ingram, like guys drill all over him, and he just turn around, turn around to the right side, fade away bucket. Turn around to the left side,
Yup.
fade away bucket. Mid range bucket. 3 point bucket. Gets to the rim
Attack the
bucket.
rim, bucket.
Like, oh my man, it's fun to watch. I mean
Like, yeah,
he,
he's a good player to watch,
yeah,
and then he has a pretty good supporting cast too
yeah.
in CJ McCollum and the other guy, the third. Can't remember his first his last name, but he's somebody the third.
Trey Murphy
Yeah,
the third.
Trey Murphy. That's
Hmm.
that's the name. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
like
been nice
he
too.
he has good players to
Hmm.
support him on the offensive side.
Hmm.
So looking forward to see Pelicans do well.
Hmm.
Hopefully they can get through. I would like to see what they'll be able to do if they were able
Yeah,
to get through. OKC had the jump on Mavericks. We know Mavericks
yeah,
had the slump, so
correct.
it's good to see that they fought hard to get this far.
Hmm.
If they could put up a good fight and give you fans a good game, that would
Yeah, that
definitely be a good matchup
is
as
true.
well for
It's true.
sure.
Well, and
Because
then, well, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that
Mm,
they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder
exactly, for sure.
um,
That's
in
a
this
pretty
game.
dangerous
So
team, especially SGA. Tough cover to guard. So
yeah,
anything can happen in this game. I would say too, but I give the Pelicans a nod. And then on Friday we have the final playing game for the AFC, depending on the loser of the 7-8. Well, any of the losers from the Tuesday games and the winners from the Wednesday games face up each other for the AFC. So um,
yeah,
maybe we see a upset, a team that was in 10th come and take the AFC. Who knows? But this should be exciting. This is one of the most exciting parts of the NBA season, given for the past 2 seasons that we've had it playing. And
hmm,
this should be equally as fun. So we see how it
yep.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah, these definitely some good matchups. So keep your eyes peeled, people, for sure. And then we got the playoff matchups that have been locked in so far. Phoenix versus Clippers. I think that's a good matchup. I like that.
I mean, sadly, I would have liked to see a little bit more fireworks, but with the Mavs or somebody like that. But Mavs really disappointed, or even the Warriors. Maybe that would have been a fun matchup as well.
Against
Um,
Phoenix.
yeah,
Okay.
but we have the Phoenix versus the Clippers. I think that's the best matchup for them, uh,
Yeah.
because it's only Kawhi really and truly that is going to be there to give them much problems. I would say.
Hey, not hey, Norman Powell different too, boy.
Yeah, but
Norman Powell a little different too.
you count on Norman
Not
Powell to
normal.
score 25 points a night. You can't replace what Paul George gives
Well,
on the floor,
I
and then top tier
I think
defense.
Norman Powell could give you 20 if you
20.
ask him.
But our extra
If
five
you ask
points,
him,
you might need that. Especially with snipers on the floor like KD and Devin Booker, that you're going
you could get it
against
from Russ.
offensively. So I think the Clippers' way to win this game is muck it up on defense, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, but I
Make
just
it
feel like
nasty.
the
A nasty
Phoenix,
game,
yeah,
tough
like a
game
tough game,
in the
like a
paint.
physical game. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's the only way to get to them. But if they let the Phoenix Suns get out and flow through their offense and stuff like that, then it's going to be trouble. If it becomes a shootout, Clippers don't got the firepower for a shootout, so they gotta make it defensively focused and you know try to make it tough for the Suns. I would still say ultimately the Suns go on to take the victory in this matchup. Um, sad for the Clippers that we've been waiting to see get to the conference finals with Kawhi and Paul George for the longest time. But it hasn't happened with those two guys as yet. So um,
Yeah.
uh, who knows? Well, Phoenix for me, I would say.
Question though on the Phoenix Suns. I saw that they played their. I would guess. I guess I could say they're second hand team. For a couple of games there. Do you think that that's a tactic for I guess getting their second squad stronger for the playoff tournaments? Like when they're resting their players from the first squad.
I think maybe Tyronn might be trying to find out who he's going to keep in his rotation because in the playoffs you don't usually play as much players as you may typically play during the regular season. Obviously the regular
Right.
season is much longer, so you want to give the guys as much rest as possible, and you want to keep the best players on the floor as much as possible in the playoffs. So uh, maybe he's trying to deliberate a decision and trying that. But if you got players resting, then you gotta get other players to play. So he kind of don't really got a choice if he trying to preserve the legs of the players that are going to be playing majority of the games uh,
Right.
going forward. So rest and probably trying to weed out who he's going to keep in the rotation or not keep in the rotation when the playoffs come. But I think that too could sometimes be pretty fluid depending on how the selected players perform or how the series is going or how the matchups may be. So I don't think it might be too much science into that specific
Okay.
arrangement from Taylor.
Fair enough. Kings versus Warriors. This is a game that I did
This is
Hakeem choose
one,
this
yeah.
matchup?
I think Hakim chose as one of his most wait, what was it? What was the description that we used? The ones that we most wanted to
Who
see.
wanted? Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't think about it at first, but I again this is a brilliant pick for that because two teams again stylistically a mirror image of each other.
Yeah. It's
This is
like
gonna be a fun
the
series.
master and the student, and
Yeah,
it's like, does the student become better than the master?
exactly.
It's
So
one of those kung fu type esque matchups.
exactly. So high power offense all the way through. The
Yeah.
Warriors should have the edge on defense, hence why they
Uh,
may be able to take the win. But I don't think we should count out the Kings. Andrew Wiggins is also rumored to be coming back to start the series, so there's that. I don't know how well that's going to go because you still got to get into some level of in-game shape, and that does. I don't see how easy he'll be able to do that over the course of a series where every game matters. So
He might
that's
play off
going to
the
be a little bit
bench. You never know.
maybe,
Like
but
just play off the bench to catch his rhythm again,
yeah,
and
but
then
I just can't see
you
who
know.
they have to start Darren Fox. That's the only thing that has me kind of worried about the Warriors. I would say, I give him well, me giving the Kings somewhat of an advantage is just true. Said Darren Fox again, like who's going to stop him? Because I've watched him just be lightning quick, get to the rim at will.
Mhm.
Positive floater, get to the floater. Like, literally, your big man can't stop him because he's not going all the way to the rim, and your guard that's guarding him can't stay in front of him because he's too fast. So it's like,
Yep.
what am I going to do? He's been the best player in the clutch for the whole season. So if there's any close game, I expect him to take over. So this should be a fun series. Probably he and Steph Curry going back and forth in some tight games. Probably is going to be a high scoring affair for this series. So I think this is probably going to be one of the most fun series out of all that are already
Yeah.
set.
Splashes everywhere.
Yep. Yes, and great 3 point shooters all on both teams across the board.
So double teaming not gonna work as good as it would on some other teams.
Hey, you never know. Maybe it might get
Oh,
double team might generate some turnovers, bad passes, and the Warriors are prone to bad passes and turnovers. So
yeah.
that is very possible. That might be a good strategy, even though it might the is a high risk, high reward type of situation
Hmm.
with the Warriors.
Might be risky, but without peoples, when we come back, we can talk about the East. We got to win these matchups against Cavs and Knicks and 76ers and Nets. We'll discuss it when we come back, so stay tuned. We are back, peoples. We are back to talk about the matchups in the East for the playoffs between the fourth and fifth seed in Cavs and Knicks, and the third and sixth seed in 76ers and Brooklyn Nets. Right, Vaughn, what's your take on Cavs and Knicks?
I had this in my most exciting matchups for the playoffs a couple of weeks ago,
Yep.
and so said so happening. I think this will be actually one of the more competitive series that we have because these two teams that I could say are pretty much on the same level, that have been on the same level for the most of the season, playing pretty good
Yeah.
defensively, playing pretty good offensively as well. I think the Cavs were top 10 in both offense and defense on the season. Um, Knicks have been a great offensive team with the addition of Jalen Brunson for the entire season. Pretty good on defense as well. So it should be a pretty even series. I'm looking for some fireworks for Donovan Mitchell. You know how he gets when he's in the playoff. Playoff Donovan is something different,
Yeah.
something special. Uh,
But he has to pull some players with him though
mhm.
if he's gonna make it happen.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Garland's gonna have to step up
Step up.
as well.
Yeah,
Levert, your tall boy's gonna step up as well. Jared Allen.
hmm
So
Mobley.
yeah,
I think those guys are,
yeah,
are
Mobley as well.
are pretty. I think those guys are going to be ready. Um,
Yeah,
the Knicks. On the other hand, with the Knicks, uh, Julius Randle has not have a good playoff series that I've seen so far. So he has no opportunity to redeem himself from his last playoff series where he was absolutely atrocious. Uh,
yeah,
so I think he'll be stepping up his game for this one. I think he's actually one of the biggest X factors. How he performs may determine the next success, and RJ Barrett as well going into this specific series. How are you going to stop Donovan Mitchell? They gonna have a few guys to stop them, but who is Donovan Mitchell going to be able to stop? I'm not too sure. That's the next thing. He and Darius Garland can be liabilities. That's where you got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen on the back line. But in the playoffs, matchups are magnified. These type of things matter a lot more when
yeah.
a team has time to game plan for you for 7 games, well, possibly 7 games in a row. So yeah,
Hopefully this one goes to the seventh game
yeah,
because it will
yeah. I
really
think this one,
highlight all the
yeah,
players'
yeah, I think this one will
abilities.
go down to the
Yeah,
wire, and it's going to take some sort of superhuman performance either from Donovan Mitchell or maybe Jalen Brunson or somebody like that to really take it home. So,
hmm
and the thing about it too, I like games at the Knicks because the Knicks crowd is
it's
super hype.
it.
It's super hype. That gotta be one of the best crowds.
That's our live New
Yeah,
York
correct. One of the best crowds in the
um
league. So it's gonna
fan
be
base
it's
right
gonna be
there.
fun in that regard
Yep,
as well. So
yep.
intrigued to see that
Final
matchup.
game at Knicks.
Yep. So, but no, actually, the Cavs already had seed. So final
Oh
game
yeah,
for the
so
Cavs.
yeah, so
Yeah,
they'll have
yeah,
four home games and
yeah,
then Knicks will have three.
yeah. Correct. Um,
Cool. 76ers and Nets.
I think this should be a breeze for the
Yeah.
Sixers.
Yeah.
The
You think
Nets
it's gonna be a sweep
benefited
though?
from KD's 10 game cushion that he left when he got before he got traded. Um,
Yeah.
I must say though, the Nets do have some players with some decent defensive acumen that could possibly slow down all of their offensive players. But the problem is that Mikal Bridges has been a defensive stopper majority of his career at the Suns, but no, he has been trusted into an offensive role, uh, given the lack of offensive star on the Nets. So I'm not sure how
Right.
he's going to have the energy to be able to do both on a nightly basis against this team because you got James Harden, you got Tyrese Maxey. He's not going to be guarding Embiid, but you got to play defense on a team level. So
Yeah.
and then kind of scared for Nick Claxton against Embiid fouls. Everybody just fouls Embiid, and Embiid is going to shoot a lot
No,
of
no,
free
no.
throws.
The refs give
True.
NB faults.
Yeah, I agree with that too because there's many times I just see him falling on the ground for no reason and whistle
Yeah.
blows. So many games.
Is he sound?
Yeah,
Ah,
correct.
he.
But he's a hard person to officiate, truthfully, because he's so big.
Yeah.
So there's that
Big
as well.
hands long,
Exactly.
some weird movements near the basket. Yeah. And you know how the NBA is nowadays. As soon as somebody touch a hand, is a whistle. So,
Correct.
but I still think that Nets could get at least 2 games out of the 76ers. I think so. I don't know if Cam Thomas and Mikal Bridges will be able to share the court. I don't know how that might work out. I don't know if it might be extra offensive power for the Nets or if it might just slow down because Cam needs to have the ball in hand to be effective. But I think from what I've seen, the Nets play as a unit to me should be good enough to get them at least 2 games. I'll
I
say.
feel like two is a
Well,
stretch.
I should say at least two. Sorry, at most 2 games.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
I think. I think
I agree.
the second game they probably have to work really hard for, but I think they have it in them to at least make it a 5 game series.
Well, I don't know. Maybe this might be a playoffs of upsets and surprises as well. So we
Yeah.
could also look at it from that perspective. But I don't see the Sixers seriously, given how Embiid's been playing, MVP
Mm-hmm.
conversations and all. James Harden been
Moxie.
pretty good. Tyrese Maxey, they got too much firepower, man, to really start. And I don't see how they lose to a next team that doesn't really have like a star player like that. Um,
Is that underdog spirit
true,
that that comes in and woes.
true. But
But
I would love to see them play the Heat, but my wish didn't come true. The Heat didn't get that six seed from them, so there
yeah,
goes
yeah.
that. But I don't know. Hopefully they meet them in the next round. The Heat would have to play. Let me put back up the graphic with the playoffs. If the Heat win their match, the Heat will have to play the Celtics. I can't see the Heat getting through the
That's
Celtics.
tough.
Yeah,
That's tough. That's real
but
tough.
the Heat almost beat the Celtics last year to go to the finals, so there's that as well. I
Mhm.
mean, they don't have all the same players, but
Yeah,
hey,
but you gotta remember that Celtics level up too. Like guys really playing really great basketball. So White even has come to the
yeah, his
fold
offensive
and
game just exploded.
bro,
I
like
don't know from where.
he's so I think it's gonna be tough for Heat if he got a pretty decent defense against Celtics. This is assuming that they get through, which they should against Hawks. But if they could bring a decent defense to Celtics, I think they can put Celtics on the back foot in some aspects of the game or
Yeah,
some parts of the game, I should say. I should be able to get a few good runs in there and put them under pressure. So we'll see what happens, but on paper, everybody should be expecting Celtics to get the dub
yeah,
maybe in 6 games,
maybe.
possibly. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Nothing too well. Like we don't expect any blowouts because it should be it should not be, sorry, a blowout between Heats and Celtics. If it is, then that is a super disappointment
Yeah,
from the Heats
for
end.
sure, for sure, for
So
sure.
so yeah, good matchups. I definitely excited to watch these games, knowing now that it's not a whole Eastern and Western Conference playing games throughout the week. We could easily focus on certain
Yeah,
games
true.
and I get to spend more time and be
Dissecting
more
what's going on.
in
Yeah,
depth.
yeah.
Yeah, with our analysis on these games. So that's what the postseason brings. But let's take a look back on the season as a whole and like what's transpired. Um, Before we started, you've made some predictions
Yep.
on how you thought the seeding for the East and the West was going to be. Um, Give us a little comparison on like what you predicted and what actually happened.
Well, I was totally off. One of the hardest things to do is to predict a whole 82 game season. So much things
Yep,
could happen in a season that you would never predict would happen.
yep.
Uh,
Let's
so
start with the shockers, the
shockers.
surprises.
Let's start with the West. So
Okay.
one thing that I did well, as I said, let's start with the shockers. Sacramento Kings was number one shocker for anybody this season. I'm certain no one had them anywhere near the playoffs, let alone top three in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, they based on my prediction, they took the spot that I thought the Wolves would have been in coming into the season, given the Wolves' new acquisition with Gobert and whatnot.
Right.
Um, but kudos to them. I actually got the number one seed right with the Nuggets, and my basis for that was if Jokic took a team with basically nobody to 46 wins last year, when he gets back his two main guys, they gotta be a number one seed.
Yeah.
So so said, so done.
Making it happen.
So said, so done. Grizzlies. I always sleep on the Grizzlies. I will continue to predict them low because I don't get it. I just don't get it. They got worse team wise last year. They lost two critical players to their team last off season and still came
Mm-hmm.
up with the second seed. Like, What? I don't get it. I don't know how they continue to do it, but I will continue to be wrong until the Grizzlies get a 7 seed. I will continue to do it. I thought the Suns' dysfunction would have cost them uh, a little bit more than it actually did. The Suns
Hmm.
end up with the 4 seed. Obviously, no one was seeing them getting KD, and he played a big part in them getting that 4 seed as well
I
because
was saying like
they
if
haven't
not for
lost a game.
KD,
They haven't lost a game that he's played since he's came.
yep,
So there's that as well.
yep,
And we can't sleep on Devin Booker though. Devin Booker has been playing out with his mind. I feel like a lot of people haven't been giving him the recognition that he deserves. So here from the Hostile
right.
Bros, we see you, D-Book. We see you hooping, cooking these
Mhm.
boys. Probably averaging like 30 something points per game. Probably will be the last 10 games that they played. Like he's really been the heater for them. And I hope he carries that into the playoffs so we can have a fun series. But thought they would have been a little bit lower given how the season was iffy, especially internally, locker room ways, etc., etc. Uh,
Right.
and we did see that moment of vulnerability during the season though, because they dropped pretty far down in the standings at one point. Uh, Trailblazers dropped further than I thought they would have. Dame needs to leave Portland. OKC did a lot better than a lot of people thought they would have as well. The Mavs extremely disappointing as well. The Pelicans, they should have been in that spot I put them because they were on trajectory to be even the 3rd seed early up in the year, but they just had
Yeah, but
terrible luck with
Zion.
injuries. Yeah,
Yeah.
with injuries and stuff. The Lakers, yeah, even though where had them is not far from where they are, I would say about right. They had
About right.
a good second half of the
Right.
season, I would say, after the All Star break, after the trade.
Yeah.
Um,
The trade really helped them. If
yeah,
if
but
not for the trade,
yeah,
I think Lakers would have been in Miles' position right now.
and they also had the easiest
Honest.
schedule of the whole NBA after the break too. So
Hmm.
they could have been much higher in the seeding, but they didn't win some games that they should have. Truthfully, uh,
Right.
and LeBron was out as well. Can't forget that part.
Yeah.
Um,
And 82 at some
mhm.
points.
Jazz were surprising, but they came right back down to where they would be.
Yeah.
So
At the beginning, they were hard. It's
yeah,
like, what?
yeah.
This is Utah?
Uh,
Couldn't believe it. And then, the truest song started to play. It's like, okay,
exactly,
yeah, we
exactly.
understand.
And the Rockets and the
It was just
Spurs,
a hype. Yeah,
exactly where we expect them to be at the bottom.
tough. Yeah, tough.
So not much else there. I think
Next year, man, next year.
yeah, next year I might do a better job at predicting. It's hard. It's really really hard to predict this
Yeah,
stuff.
that's the toughest prediction.
Yeah,
Hats off to you for even attempting
yeah,
to predict something like that. I know
yeah.
last season you had a pretty
A
good
pretty close one.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
I probably won't get all the time. So,
hey, kudos to you,
yeah,
bro.
man. We could transition to the East now quickly. Uh, I had the Sixers. I went right down to the West, saying that I think the Sixers could get the number 1 seed. They missed it, sadly.
Yeah,
But I had the Bucks number 2. Bucks came up with the number 1 seed, not too far off. Celtics
yeah,
3, not too far off. Uh,
yeah.
Heat,
It
disappointing
just
season.
flip around the first three. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
The Heat, disappointing season. They had the Nets 5th. Obviously, that was with Kyrie and KD in mind. They almost
Yeah,
did it even without them for half the season. So there's that as
yeah,
well. But they also did have a good cushion when those guys got traded. The
yeah,
Cavs, they had them up there as well. Not too far off. I think I did a pretty good job predicting that top 6. Pretty much all the teams that said the Heat are there that I expect to be there.
yeah.
The Knicks
Because
seem,
Nick stuck
yeah,
that spot.
the Knicks. I just don't got that much faith in Julius Randle again. I continue to say it all the time. I don't rate him out like that. Sadly, uh,
The man is not the team.
it's true. It's very true. But I didn't think that Jalen Brunson would be as impactful
Yeah,
as he is right now for that team. So shout out to Jalen Brunson for lifting the Knicks to where they are, and yeah, pretty much all the teams that I had in the plane are in the plane except the Knicks. It ends up it hit the Knicks, literally the Knicks and the Heat swap from the plane from what I had here.
right.
Uh,
Yeah,
and then the lottery teams: Wizards, Bradley Beal is complaining again about the team that he has around him, and it's so stupid that he continues to do it and still stays there. He wants to be there. Another Damian Lillard situation, which is dumb. Uh, Detroit
No
Pistons,
comment.
yeah, Detroit Pistons expected. They ended up being last. I thought they would have been better, but they made some trades for some key players that they had on the team at the beginning of the season and stuff like that. So that changed some stuff, but I feel like they have the
Mhm.
potential to be better next season, probably marginally. Orlando Magic, this is my team number two. I probably might disown the Timberwolves depending on how things go next year. So Orlando might be my team up and coming next. They
You see a
had,
lot of talent in this
yep,
team.
I do, I do. Even though their record doesn't show it, I feel like they're a pretty gritty team. Paolo
Bobo
Banchero
coming
was
up.
impressive. Bobo had a breakout season. This toss, they got a lot of nice young pieces that fit well together. A lot of big guys. They a versatile team in terms of length and size. Uh, so a team to watch out for the future for sure. Paolo is already pretty much a stud. Um, and then
Mm-hmm.
the Pacers.
Banchero.
Pacers did way better than I thought they would have. I wasn't sure how Tyrese would have performed, but uh, they had a pretty good team. They also had a shot to make it in the play-in. I was kind of sad that they didn't make it, but they
Mm-hmm.
fell off at the end, and that was critical. The Hornets. I am surprised that they didn't get it last year because they just thought they were going to be bad. It was just going to be Lamelo there.
Yeah.
um, but Gardner Hayward actually stayed healthy for a majority of the season, so claps to him for that. But then Lamelo got injured twice in the same season, so there was no hope for them.
Tough.
And yeah, pretty much built whole. This is probably the best conference that I predicted for the most part. There aren't
Right.
much changes. If we look at it from playoff playing, lottery standpoint, I
Right.
pretty much got it spot
It's
on.
just juggling
Yeah,
amongst those three
yeah,
categories.
yeah,
Yeah. Good job, man. Like I say, kudos to you for attempting this prediction because
yeah, man.
you gotta be a real basketball head to at least got some type of inclination of players and how they would gel together, how seasons usually go with injuries and all of that, things that playing and then trades, to try to make a prediction.
Yeah,
Obviously, the West was the most volatile
yeah.
conference.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see it all
Yep.
throughout, how close they were. So it was hard to even tell
Mm-hmm.
who would come out above who. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, go ahead.
it was volatile for the entire for the start of the season, man. Like, jeez,
Yeah.
like nobody we had to wait to the final game to see where everybody was going to be in the West. Like that was probably one of the this is the worst. Well, not worst. Let me not label it as that. This is one of the most unpredictable conferences that I've ever seen for the time that I've been watching basketball. Truthfully, so
Right.
that was fun though.
That
That was fun.
that might mean it was the more competitive
Yeah, I
conference
agree.
as well.
I agree.
So um what was your most surprising team? I guess it was
Yeah,
maybe
relabel
Grizzlies.
it. I would say not the Grizzlies. I
No,
would say
no,
the
Kings.
Kings. The Kings were
Yeah,
surprising,
yeah, the
but I
Kings.
would say the Knicks. For me too, because I did not see. I just didn't think that Jalen Brunson was going to have the impact that he did. Pretty much being an All Star for the team, even though he didn't get selected, but he has been their
Right.
All Star, truthfully, for the season. Uh,
Yeah.
I totally underestimated his impact, and no, it has the Knicks in a position where I can say where a lot of people didn't think they would be with this acquisition. And
Most
you know,
disappointing. Oh, sorry.
I just saying like they paid him a lot of money and they got a lot of great for that. But I mean, it's paying off. It's paying
Exactly.
off.
Like this is what we paid this guy for. Most disappointing team.
Um, this got some recency bias to it, but I can say the Timberwolves.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, Recency bias and personal bias as well.
Hmm. I would
Initially,
probably
I would
say
have said,
Mavs.
yeah, initially I would have said the Dallas Mavericks, but after last night, the Timberwolves take the cake because what on earth? I think I maybe I'm taking the Jaden McDaniels loss a little bit too hard, but that was just the
Yeah.
dumbest thing I ever see. Like that's so, and that's if it was his peer run or if it was his team, I'd be so disappointed in him for doing that.
Yeah.
Alone, like you literally, there's the literal no reason for you to do that. You just
I
end
will
your
find
season
him for breaking his own hand.
exactly like you literally just end
Yeah,
your
okay.
season unsolicited. People they're trying to stay healthy during the season, and you literally just end your season on your own. Like it wasn't an accident you missed it and fall on
Yeah.
something or anything. You did that purposefully.
But not just end his season because he's such a good defensive player for the team.
Exactly.
Like he could have effectively ended the team season,
Exactly.
even if they might have had a fighting chance,
Chance to go.
however
Yeah.
small,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
So yeah.
So I label them as the most disappointing team too because it's like I guess I had some higher expectations in terms of how the Gobert trade would have helped the team, etc., etc. And I just didn't feel like it resulted into it materialized into the idea that was presented when the trade was done. I didn't expect it to work smoothly to start out, but then Cat got injured for pretty much the whole season. He missed like 50 enough games, so
Mhm.
a lot of setbacks. But of course, Dallas was disappointed as well. And I would say an honorable mention goes out to the Hawks, truthfully, for being making one of those big trades in the off season and then still a mediocre team.
Yeah. Let me try to speed it up.
Hmm.
Already over an hour. So
Hmm.
who's your MVP? We had that big discussion. Who you thinking
I
by
go
it?
straight. I go straight with Embiid. Uh, I just think he's gonna win it. I, I personally I can't say who it is so close to me. Like it could be Jokic. Jokic has been sensational for the season, almost averaging a triple double. But Embiid has been so dominant both on the offensive and defensive end, as well as Giannis. Then Giannis is in number one seed, so I think it's going to go to Embiid. I know the question is not who I think the MVP is for me personally, but I just think it's going to Embiid, and I would just go that way because I know that's what's going to happen.
Fair enough. I think that's a good pick. Who's defensive player of the year for you?
I go with Jaren Jackson Jr. He was at one point he was probably like averaging like 5 blocks a game. I don't know how this guy does it. He just comes out of nowhere and is always there to sniff out a block, man. Like truthfully, he is a sensational defensive player. And early in his career, he would have been plagued with getting into a lot of foul trouble. He led the league in fouls committed multiple years, and he has been able to tone that down to some extent and be able to hone in on his defensive skill set. And before people would have said that if he just got rid of the fouling so often, he could be in the conversation for this award. And he so said so done. So kudos to him.
Funny enough, I saw a YouTube short earlier today where he was talking to Kyrie on one of his offensive plays, and he kind of juked him a little bit because he was saying to Kyrie, look, if you go to this side, I'm gonna block you here, and then Kyrie kind of showed him how he could get past it,
Mm-hmm.
and in the big game that they had against the Mavs, he was able to, I guess, figure it out and
Yeah,
implement that
yeah.
and stop Kyrie in the big game. So
Mm-hmm.
smart, smart thinking from Jared. I could agree. He's been there. He's been that body.
Yep.
Sixth man,
I think it's
sixth
pretty
man
easy.
of the season.
Malcolm Brogdon, easily, I would say. This year, 6 man race has been very lackluster, I would say. Haven't been really
Mhm.
many standout players, I would say. Maybe Norman Paul could be in conversation for it, but the 6 man of the year usually goes to somebody as a bucket off the bench. I don't know why, but
Right.
that's just how
Not,
it
not
is.
Norman Paul could probably be in
Yeah,
that conversation,
yeah,
even though like his bucket getting skills aren't like the flashiest. Like he
yeah.
don't got a lot of
He's
fadeaways
really
and stuff.
efficient.
Like
Yeah,
he's a go getter.
yeah.
Like
He
at the
efficient.
rim
Yeah,
most of the time.
correct.
So and he's a good defensive player too.
Mhm.
He gets a lot of interceptions and steals. So I think he could be in that decision, but
Yeah, but Michael Brown have been steady
um,
all year. I can see
mhm,
for the um for the Celtics, he's one that really
yeah.
were. I could say I was pretty excited to see how he was going to fit with the team, and he fit pretty well. And that has been a role that he was kind of in when he was with the Bucks during his earlier
Mm.
years in his career. So he fit in very well, and steer the ship. So I give him the award. Uh,
Fair enough.
yeah,
Coach of the year, would you give it to Kings
yeah,
coach?
yeah, for sure. Mike Brown, Mike Brown. No way, nobody was
Yeah.
seeing this happening, and he just saw. I think he a light bulb probably clicked when he saw the personality he has. It's like Warriors 2.0. Draymond, Sabonis, Steph Curry, I guess De'Aaron Fox, but not in the same way. Uh,
Jafet
Clay,
complete.
Clay Thompson, Red Velvet. Like, come on, man. Like, the
Yeah.
blueprint is there, so he coming from
Yep.
that staff, he knows it best. So, uh,
Yeah, he knows that. Yeah.
he's like
Knows
the
our style of play and
he's like the
everything.
Aston Martin team lead. I guess if you had a F1
To
comparison,
Red Bull,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Copying some stuff from Red Bull there, so and
And it
bring some
working.
exactly.
It working. That's the most important thing. Um a lot of players in the NBA, one has to stand out. Not MVP, but in terms of improvement.
Hmm.
Who you think is the most improved player?
Laurie Markkinen.
Um
I
Larry
go
Markkinen.
hesitate. I don't see who else wins it. He has been. He
Jenna
became an
Brunson,
all
maybe?
star. No, I wouldn't put Jenna Brunson. I put Laurie Markkinen. There's nobody I thought Laurie Markkinen was going to be an all star this year. Like, I don't even think he thought he was going to be an all star this year. But we could see
Yeah,
signs of
yeah.
it when he was playing in the in like the there was the international basketball I was playing in FIBA. I don't know if it was a World Cup. It was a tournament. Not it, that was playing in summer that he played in, and he was going off. I was seeing it, but I wasn't thinking really that it was going to translate into the regular season, but it did, and I'm glad for him. He's had, I could say he's had a tough time. He just was able to fortunately find a spot for him with the Jazz. So happy, happy for him in that regard, so he can get a showcase his capabilities, uh, given the talent that we know that he all had coming into the league. So shout outs to him.
Fair. Peoples, let us know if you think Rayvon's picks are, like valid. You know what I mean? Like, let us know if you kind of disagree with what he's saying, and let us know your reasons. We'll definitely be interested in that for sure. In that conversation. Now, last but not least, most outstanding performance. I
I
don't
think
know
that's pretty
if you want to
easy.
do this throughout the season or if you want to do this for like a particular game or
I just
particular
say
stretch of games or whatever.
off the rip, just that Donovan Mitchell 70 piece. I know we had like three 70 pieces for the year for the NBA
Yeah.
season, but that one was actually needed. If you get what I'm saying, like that game went
Yeah.
down to the wire. He needed every one of those 71 points that he scored. Sensational performance. Just I don't know. It just felt like he had
I mean,
limitless
some
energy.
some some people would have argued that the team wasn't playing defense in that game. Like they just allowed him to do whatever.
But they
But
can
I see
stop
something
him.
different.
They
Yeah,
can stop him. I
that's the
think he just
thing.
had the energy of this world, like to play that long and at that speed.
Yeah, he played a lot of minutes, like
Yeah,
47 minutes.
yeah,
It was close to.
yeah.
Yeah, two overtimes.
That's crazy to
Dirty.
me. Yeah. So
Dirty.
that had to be the most outstanding performance for me for the season, for sure.
Yeah.
Nothing else
Do
that
you
come to
have
mind.
one that's I guess season long? But I guess that I'm going to
Like an
more like
MVP, yeah, like
yeah,
an
MVP
award.
or something like that. Yeah. Cool. I don't have a lot of arguments with some of your picks. I could see in the MVP discussion where people could juggle Jokic and Embiid. But hey, we know how the NBA could get, so
Exactly, exactly.
we just gotta wait and see. Um, now for the fun part, the most exciting part of the stream, revealing the winner of the NBA
Of
predictions
course, you would say that.
for
It's
the
exciting.
regular season. I don't have my Chrome here.
uh,
Actually, let me pull up my Chrome. Let me pull up my Chrome. I honestly though, I had a torrid week. last week.
Boy, you
Two
be,
close games, two
boy,
close games, and I was like, "Come on, you
boy, I was
guys
right.
get away with this one."
You
Like,
barely nudged me out. Barely nudged me
yeah,
out at
by
the end.
one.
But one, if I had chose the Timberwolves, if I had been fearful and chose the Timberwolves and say, you know what, they could beat the Pelicans this week. We could have been in a tie. We would have had some sort of tiebreak or something to do, something like
Yeah,
that.
it would have had to
Yeah.
happen some way somehow, but I hung on. Hung on tight. You see,
Congratulations.
you got to admit all your progress early up in the season. So when it comes down to this time and you're tired, things not really working out. You got a little wiggle room, a little
Yeah.
buffer. But yeah, man.
Congrats,
Thanks.
Hans, man.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We should have that horn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a good season
Yeah,
of
predictions. Yeah, it
predicting.
was back and forth.
A lot of good games.
Yeah.
Some that we barely got right, some that really caught us off guard and stuff. So it was exciting. Um, you want to explain the new predictions for the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, so I was thinking what we do a little bit of a different thing. There's a few different components to the like predicting for the playoffs. So we're gonna do different type of layout. So we're gonna do it per series, and then for each
Yeah.
series, each of us would give a prediction of what we think the season will go to, what the series will go to, in terms of who's
Does
the
the score
winner.
out of
Yeah,
seven
yeah,
or out of six or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah. Score
whoever?
is what you think the final series score would be. So whether it's for love,
Right.
4-3, we always know somebody needs to win for. So whichever you predict, so you get 10 points for choosing the correct series winner, and then
Hmm.
you get minus points for choosing the incorrect series result. So, like for
Okay.
example, if your prediction is Bucks versus Celtics, and you have the Bucks beating the Celtics for love, but in reality the Bucks beat the Celtics 4-3. The Celtics won three more games than you thought that they would have, so you lose 2 points per game
So
that you got
two
wrong.
points per incorrect
Yeah,
score,
2 points per
or
incorrect. Yeah,
or the difference, I
yeah,
guess.
correct. So you say for love, for
Not
three,
true.
the difference between 0 and 3 is 3, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore you lose 2 points. Minus 2 multiplied by 3, which you lose 6 points. Um, if you don't get
More
it
for all
right.
that work.
Yep.
I,
So
I
at
like it. I
worst, you can
like
end up
it.
with 4 points if you get the right person, but the wrong series prediction.
At
Depending on the
worst,
number
gonna
of
be
games.
zero.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, not bad. You will get at minimum 4 points.
At minimum 4 points.
Four
Yeah,
points if you get the right
that's cool.
series. Yeah, if you get the right series winner. Um, and
Two
then
crowns in a row would be nice. I'm
well,
looking forward to
we
it.
got another chance here, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna add a bonus 5 points for predicting the series MVP. So we're gonna do this a little. We could put a little bit of math in here to kind of spice it up. So there's this statistic that we call the game score.
Mhm.
It's pretty encompassing stat that takes into consideration all the counting stats that a player puts up. Give the player a specific value for a specific game. So the higher this game score, the better it is, of course. Um, so what we are going to do is we're going to take the game score for all the players in a specific series and create an average for the series. And the player that has the highest average will be determined the series MVP for that specific series, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
And if the person that has the highest average game score over that series is the person that you pick, then you get 5 bonus points
It's gonna be
for that.
tough.
Yes.
It's gonna be tough.
So a little
Well,
twist, a little
not if
twist.
Bucks playing or if these other guys playing other teams. I mean, if they got to go up against each other, then
Hmm.
it would get
Yeah.
spicy. But I can see some easy points here
But
happening
hey,
too.
it might be a series for example. So say in this six series net series,
Hmm.
I pick and B to be MVP. But really and truly, Tyrese Maxey ended up being the guy with the highest average game score across the board.
Right.
Then it could happen that way. There might be an unsung hero in some of these playoff series that really.
Peoples, don't let Rayvon put you off. Choose MB. Choose
I just
MB.
saying. I just saying. I just
Yeah,
saying.
anything is possible. That's true. That's true. But yeah, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, man.
Sounds exciting for sure. The fact that you could ace a prediction but still get points taken off
Yeah,
because you predict incorrect score. Sounds exciting, and then bonus points for series MVP.
yeah.
And doing that across the entire playoffs is going to be fun as well. So looking forward to that. Peoples, don't forget F1 coming up this weekend, being Baku, Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Sorry, I don't know why I said that like that. But
It's a hard word,
look,
man.
yeah, man, looking forward to it. Your boys in. Um, hopefully could get a good qualifying again. Hopefully Melbourne wasn't a fluke, and you could get back up there and score some easy point. Well, I shouldn't say easy point, but get themselves in position to score good points.
Wait, you said
For the
when you said it is, isn't it? The next person. You said the next
say,
person is when?
I think is this weekend. No,
This weekend? No, I don't think so.
following weekend, right?
Let me see.
I think is yeah, because they had the race last weekend, so it's 2 weekends from last weekend. I
This weekend.
I'm pretty sure.
Nah. 28th to the 30th. Got a big stupid break.
Like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Honest to God, somebody put me off because I said that at work, right?
Uh-huh.
And somebody said, no, the break is not that long. It's like,
Yes,
the
it
break
is.
is that long. The break is super long. The break is like at the end of the month. That is well. So people, sorry. Sit back, relax, do whatever you want to do. Watch Netflix or something. Go to the beach, chills. Do whatever you want to do because, hey, next race is 28th of April. That's what
Yeah,
to
you
me.
got
But
some.
anyways,
Get the guys to get some. Maybe we come back and see some cars being more competitive. The gap between Red Bull and the rest of the pack diminished to some level. So hey,
hey,
dream about that
stay tuned,
anytime.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. HastroBros. Oh, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
All right, peace.
Peace.